The Carolina Pro Football Report, presented by National PAL. Support National PAL at nationalpal.org.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to training camp here in Spartanburg on the Pro Football Report on ADSN, presented by National PAL. Remember, nationalpal.org. Well, we're here at Wofford College. I'm here with Colin Cole. Lovely day here at training camp. Well, actually, it's a sweltering day. It's day 12 of training camp for the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rhule has now gone from not so happy to getting happy, all as a result of his "don't beat ourselves" sign. So things are starting to heat up for the Panthers, and they're looking quite good, Colin.
Absolutely. So we had the opportunity to see them out here on the field today, and I would say that, they started off a little bit slow, a little bit rusty. I would think that a lot of what we're seeing right now is a culmination of 12 hard days, but add to that they're going to be heading off soon to Indianapolis to go have those joint practices. So I would say that a lot of what we saw today was kind of tightening up stuff, a lot of opportunities to get guys out there to just, to go through some of the sequences, because they're going to go and run through every possible scenario through a game when they go up to Indy. So this is a great opportunity for them to kind of have a little small dress rehearsal prior to going up into Indy with a different type of mentality. And I think the team is definitely ready and chomping at the bit for that opportunity.
So a big concern for the team last year was the O-line. There were lots of injuries, the inconsistencies. Guys have to get used to new footwork, moving around to different places that they just aren't accustomed to doing. But now it seems like they have those pieces in place. How's the O-line looking?
Well, currently there are a couple guys that are currently not practicing, and Cam Irvin and I believe Matt Paradis did not practice today. However, those guys I can see will be fully prepared for week one of the preseason against Indianapolis. So I think that Coach Rhule is taking the time right now to kind of give those guys some days off, a couple of practices off possibly, to give them the opportunity so that when the time comes for being in those joint practices, they're ready to go.
Now, Matt Rhule talked about this process of getting the O-line back up to speed and getting all the pieces in place. Let's hear from Matt.
We've had two competitive days the last 2 days, and then now we'll compete against somebody else. And, we're talking about some great players that Indy has. So it'll be a great measuring stick for our guys, both on a personal level and on a unit level and a team level. Hey, where are we compared to them? So I'm excited. Coach Reich's a great coach. And, great chance for me to learn something from him as well. You get kind of used to, hey, run this play versus our defense. You see a different look, different mic points, so it'll be good. And then I just think, getting a 2-minute drill versus them, which we have planned, some different things like that, just a different change of scenery. All of it will be good.
It definitely seems like Matt Rhule is getting a handle on things now. There's one other issue, though. In this offense, we know about the depth at wide receiver. We know about the depth at all the positions. The one spot that they need to think about filling is with Greg Olsen, leaving that hole at tight end. But it seems like they're working their way to solving that problem right now, and they're doing that with a young man named Dan Arnold.
I think, when I talked to my agent when we were looking at signing here, I told him, hey, I know Joe. I'm very comfortable with him. I know what he's going to try and do. I know how he can work the tight ends in the offense, and I thought it was going to be a really, really good situation. But then also trusting myself that I can become, the Ben Watson kind of guy back in New Orleans. Blocker needs improvement, and that's all there is to it. I think each and every day I come in here and I need to get better, and that's something that I try to get better at no matter what. And I don't think whether I play, one more year in the league or whether I play 10, it's something I'm going to have to get better at every day.
So Arnold has a lot of pluses. He has a large catch radius, great red zone threat, but he doesn't block well.
So I had the opportunity to speak to him a little bit earlier, and I sized him up a little bit. Definitely has that receiving tight end mold body. Could definitely looks like a guy who will be able to stretch the field, catch everything within that catch radius. The question mark, just as you mentioned, is the blocking. But considering where the NFL is today, it's a pass-happy league. So his opportunities on the field will be more so in pass-catching opportunities. But you got to keep him on the field all the time. And I know that he knows that that's an area of emphasis for him going into I don't say training camp, but going into the preseason. So right now, his focus on making sure that he picks it up in that area so that he can be a solid tight end for this program.
Well, I know you're an expert on everything, offense included.
I think so.
But I know that your wheelhouse is definitely the defense. And there have been some big changes. Last year, they were in the bottom ranks of the NFL regarding a defense.
Well, I think that, yeah, right now there's a lot of prognosticators that are giving these guys the title, considering some of the position changes, some of the guys that are in specific positions. We saw a young man by the name of Jeremy Chin that came in and made a big slam dunk into this program last year, started every single game, but played multiple positions. So you're making position specific as a safety, and you bring guys in that they brought in to play linebacker for them that are going to be great guys to kind of fill that hole, so that you have a guy like that can just maintain and focus on that position. Then of course up front, already know those guys are what make the whole defense run. I'm going to be honest with you, they make the whole defense run. So you got a year 2 for a guy like Derek Brown, Bravion Roy. You got year 3 for a guy like Brian Burns. So a very young cast up front, very young cast. However, a good core group of guys that will definitely grow with this program. And I see how Matt Rule wants to grow this program, specifically with those guys on the defensive front.
And I definitely like the move of moving Jeremy Chin back to safety.
Absolutely. It gives him more of a model to do more so what he did in college. Gives him an opportunity to see the entire field and not play so close up to the line of scrimmage where he gets tangled up in the blockers. So he can be more of a free hitter and have an opportunity to be a safety and do what the defense needs to do. Well, in terms of being able to take away and erase big-time plays on the back end.
Now, one person that's been getting better is Brian Burns. Great pass rush, but now he's going to have some help.
Absolutely. And so what makes that more difficult for offenses, obviously, is when you have a guy as dynamic as a Brian Burns, you typically have to find 2 guys to account for him, whether that be an offensive lineman plus a running back or offensive lineman plus a tight end. You don't leave a guy like that to chance. You don't leave a guy like that to just be blocked by a tight end or a running back. So now that you have somebody opposite of him, they can't so much key in on those guys. And remember, you take a guy like a tight end or a running back to help chip on a defensive end, you're taking that guy out of the pass rush or out of the pass route. So it gives the opposing offense less options, and gives the defense more options to obviously get pressure as well as turn loose those extra free players. So having that extra DN on the other side that can really create pressure and be a solid guy opposite of Burns is going to be key for this Panthers defense this season.
Now, the name of the game for the defense is getting turnovers. Last year, only 7 interceptions. How is this defense going to manage more of that this year?
Well, it starts with the pressure up front. But the other thing that I got to say about that is you add guys like a J.C. Horn that comes in here as a rookie, a freshman, that comes in as a first-round rookie that shows all the intangibles. He's shown everything out here on this practice field that he can do against big-time receivers. He's done it in the SEC against some pretty large receivers. He's going to fit in well coming into the NFC South, playing against some receivers such as Mike Evans. Julio Jones is now with Tennessee, but there are still plenty of big-time receivers in the NFC South as well as throughout the league. So being able to have a guy like J.C. Horn come in as a rookie and start right away is going to bolster this defense.
We've talked to you about what the veterans are doing and how they're shaping up, but there are guys that are still trying to make the roster. They may have been drafted later rounds in the draft. One of those guys is Davion Nixon from the University of Iowa, and your former stomping grounds.
Yep, that's right. And I'm glad. I'll just take it from there, Kevin. Yes, I got a chance to talk to Davion Nixon, one of Iowa's best. Defensive Player of the Year last year, Defensive Lineman of the Year in the Big Ten last year. Humble as they can come. Today I get an opportunity to talk to one of my former Iowa alumni in Davion Nixon, who was a 5th-round draft pick for the Carolina Panthers. Davion Nixon, how's camp going for you so far, Davion?
Camp's going good, trying to basically just get myself situated with the defense and learning everything that I can. It's been going pretty good so far.
How do you feel about the upcoming week of joint practices with the Indianapolis Colts?
I feel like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be something that I never experienced really before, so it's gonna be something to take note of.
So this is your first experience in the NFL, obviously, coming from the University of Iowa. How did Iowa prepare you for your experience here in the NFL?
They prepared the hell out of us, excuse my language, but they got us ready. For us, for Iowa, it's like everything is basically the Patriot way. And the Patriot way is basically NFL football. Like so many college people go from either being with the Patriots to learning from the Patriots to doing things that the Patriots do just to get their team ready. And so I would say that they prepared a lot of guys, even me, especially me, to like the best that they could. You know, it came a lot easier for me than I would say a lot of people that is our rookies here now. So
Absolutely. So going into your rookie year, what are your expectations? What are your thoughts? How do you feel about things going forward?
My expectations for myself and my goals basically is just to get out there and play as much as I can and just, you know, have a big impact for my team and help us win. Other than that, if I can, I want to be Rookie Player of the Year, but I gotta make the team and play first. So
I got one more question for you. Down here in Spartanburg, South Carolina, have you ever had a training camp quite like this?
Nah, it's too hot. It's too hot. Training camp and it's never this bad. I'm used to like maybe 85 at the max. It's about 112 right now, and I'm still sweating, and I barely even did anything today. So this is a lot. Trust. It's Spartanburg. It's a different type of heat. I don't know what they got going on, but they need to fix this. The sun or something. They got to fix it.
Hey, you hear it straight from the man himself, Davion Nixon, Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year last year. I can't wait to see him tear it up on the field this year. Davion, thank you for stopping by, sir. I appreciate that.
Great young man, Davion Nixon from the University of Iowa. Well, they're wrapping things up and getting prepared for their trip to Indianapolis to face the Colts for both joint practices and the game on Sunday. Colin, what are your projections as of right now where this team is headed?
Well, I think right now, going into the first preseason game, the focus is obviously just doing all the small things correctly. Can you get 11 guys out there on the field? Can you make sure that there's only 11 guys out there on the field? Can the guys do what the scheme is asked of them? They're going to keep the playbook very small. They just want to see guys actually perform and do what they can do, right? They don't want to throw the entire thing at them and try to make the game difficult. They're going to go out and make this as simple as possible to do enough to try to win the game. So what I expect to see is an offense that is explosive. I expect to see is number 22 get a couple of reps, but I also expect to see an offensive line that, although revamped, stronger than what we saw last season. I expect to see a wide receiver core that is stronger with a young rookie out of LSU in Marshall, and then defensively, I mean, I want to see Phil Snow's defense fly around. I want to see everybody within that scheme just kind of embrace the year two of being a part of this scheme. So I want to see a guy like Jeremy Chin. How does he make that transition from being a Sam linebacker to being a free safety now? You know, I want to see how some of these guys come in and make plays. I want to see Davion Nixon. Selfishly, I want to see how he plays. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how this game progresses. I'm excited to see how these guys go up to Indy and really perform and take it to those Colts, who, by the way, have one of the top offenses in the league last year, considering that offensive line. So I always think about O-line, D-line. So I'm excited to see how that matchup goes for this upcoming game.
Okay. Well, one important last note, camaraderie. How your team gels is very, very, very important. The team took a trip to Top Golf last night. How important are exercises like this to break up camp, get the guys together?
Man, I would say that these are some great opportunities to really get guys to really get to know their teammates, really. It's you know, you come to work on a daily basis. It's very difficult, especially during training camp. You got this monotonous schedule. You kind of get down and focused in so much that you kind of forget what day it is at times. So to do something to kind of break up that monotony and kind of give you something where you can kind of let your hair down, so to speak, and give those guys something to do outside of what they're doing on a regular basis, which is just only football. And there's a regular world going on outside of these fences and these walls. So I'm sure they're excited to have had that opportunity, and it's always a great team-building opportunity.
Well, you seem to be having a lot of fun today, seeing a lot of old faces. How great is that to come back and connect?
Well, it's fantastic to come back and connect. However, you know, I'm sweltering out here. Been dabbing myself with the sweat towel a little bit, but you know, nonetheless, it's beautiful to be out here, to be in training camp, to have the opportunity to be around, you know, the young guys. You know, they keep you young, they keep you fresh. You know, seeing some of the coaches and the staff and whatnot, it's just a great experience to be out here, considering, you know, being an alumni of this program.
Well, that'll do it for the Pro Football Report here on ADSN, presented by National PAL, nationalpal.org. We've had a great time today seeing how everything is coming together for the Panthers, and hopefully this will turn out to be the season for the Cats. So long from Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm Kevin Tolbert, along with Colin Cole. See you next time.
The National Police Athletic and Activities League, changing the lives of America's youth by uniting kids, cops, and communities. NationalPal.org.